There it is. All right.
Columbus Drive is first.
All right, who's ready? J1, how you going? You are? Right. All right, that's it then. We are qualifying.
Memorial Bridge is third on mediums. The qualification session is at Chicago Street Circuit, converted from Grid Autosport by ACU, updated and finalized by Reboot Team. Various Grid 2 assets borrowed from C. Heike Freaky with permission. In Chicago, USA. Chris Budd from New Zealand in N. Stetson Avenue is P4 on softs.
Alright, just pit. I'm not joking. And you guys have figured out that the jump to pit button does work during qualifying, haven't you?
The race dictator from New Zealand in N. State Street is P1 on
just checking.
softs.
So if you want that extra set of softs, go for it. No, you don't. Oh, yeah, the outlap, yeah. You gotta do the outlap.
Canadian guy from Canada.
Yeah, but it might be worth it for the tires.
3 on softs. YH8 Racing from New Zealand in N. Columbus Drive is P2 on hards.
Yeah, it's feel more than anything, isn't it? And turn in. The softs, there are a couple corners where I have to wait another half second or full second before I can get on throttle. So in the mediums.
That Canadian guy in Ohio Street is third.
Ooh, there's balloons now. We've got balloons.
"10 minutes remaining in the session."
Yep.
YH8 Racing from New Zealand in Evacuation.
No, like hot air balloons.
The race dictator is first.
Yep. Yep, they're there. They're only there for races. Pull out the stops for the races, you know. Exactly. Kind of like the fireworks.
The race dictator is up 2.89 in N. Wabash Avenue. The race dictator is up 3.53 in E. Kinsey Street. The race dictator is up 3.73 in N. Columbus Drive. The race dictator is up 4.79 in N. Michigan Avenue. The race dictator improved his P1 with a 202.455. That Canadian guy is provisional pole with a 201.114. Chris Budd is fourth. Chris Bunnett improved his second with a 2:01.859. 0.745 off pole. The race dictator in N. Wabash Avenue is P4 up 0.59. The race dictator is up 0.81 in E. Kinsey Street. The race dictator is up 1.19 in N. Columbus Drive. The race dictator is up 1.40 in N. Michigan Avenue. The race dictator is provisional pole with a 2:00.610. That Canadian guy is provisional pole with a 1:59.679. Todd from New Zealand, Wacker Drive is P4 on softs. Todd improved his P3 with a 2:01.08. 1.401 off pole. The race dictator in N. Wabash Avenue is P2 up 0.17. Best lap is a 2:00.610. 0.931 off pole. 5 minutes remaining in the session. The race dictator is up 0.38 in IRV Cupsinet Bridge. The race dictator is up 0.10 in E. Grant Avenue. That Canadian guy in N. Michigan Avenue is P1 up 0.40.
Manning tires. That Canadian guy is provisional pole with a 1:59.402. Todd in E. Wacker Drive is third. Best lap is a 2:01.08. 1.678 off pole. The race dictator in E. Lake Street is P2. Gillis from New Zealand in N. Wabash Avenue is 5th up 0.13 on softs. Gillis is up 0.26 in N. Wabash Avenue.
Illisk is up 0.27 in William P. Foggy Bridge. Illisk is up 0.71 into Sable Bridge. YH8 racing into Sable Bridge is 6th up 0.58. YH8 racing improved his P6 with a 202.983. 3.581 off pole. Chris Budd in N. Wabash Avenue is 4th up 0.12. The race dictator in N. Michigan Avenue is 2nd. Chris Budd in N. Columbus Drive is P4 up 0.11. Best lap is a 2:01.859. 2.457 off pole.
So J1, what's the difference in your lap time between your the medium and the soft for you?
Todd in Ewacker Drive is 3rd. The qualifying session is now in overtime. The race dictator in East South Water Street is P2. Chris Budd in Ewacker Drive is 4th. The race dictator in N. Michigan Avenue is 2nd. Chris Budd in N. Stetson Avenue is 4th.
Not come anywhere close to you though.
Ewacker Drive is P6. Best lap is a 2:02.983. 3.581 off pole. Chris Budd in N. Wabash Avenue is 4th up 0.26 on softs.
Yeah, 5 laps.
Race dictator
5 laps
P2.
on softs is about it for me.
Broadcast bot is 20th on mediums.
Wow, you are quick, mister. You're over a second faster than I am. Impressive. What the heck? Here we go, boys.
The
I
race
hope I got
session
that
is
right.
Chicago
I'm not sure
Street
if I did, to
Circuit,
be honest.
converted from Grid Autosport by
20 minutes,
ACU,
is correct?
updated and finalized by Reboot Team.
Here
Various
we go, boys.
assets borrowed from C-I-K-F-R-E-A-K-Y with permission. In Chicago, USA.
Let's try not to be Verstappen and Hamilton, huh? Yep.
20 minutes remaining in the session. Race dictator is P2. Race start. The race dictator passed that Canadian guy for first.
Yep.
Todd from New Zealand in the Lake Street is P3 on softs.
If you use your cursor keys, you can use your cursor keys while you're driving to alter your pit strategy.
That Canadian guy from Canada in Wabash Avenue is P3 on mediums. That Canadian guy is now P4.
Boy, it's weird to go from softs back to mediums. It's like, wow, it's sliding. Gurk, gurk.
Gillis from New Zealand in N State Street is 6th on softs.
Silent Dave is back.
Todd in East South Water Street is P3. Gillis is P6. Todd in N Michigan Avenue is P3.
Yep. Must change tires too. Tire compounds.
Gillis Mini Wacker Drive is 6th. YH8 Racing from New Zealand in Wacker Drive is P3 on hards, 0.3 behind Todd.
It is.
That Canadian guy in E Randolph Street is 4th. Best lap is a 2:14.045. 8.530 off the fastest lap. Gillis exiting pits on medium.
When you use your
YH8 Racing in the Lake Street is 4th.
use the
0.4
Yep.
behind that Canadian guy.
well, you gotta highlight the fuel, and then but you gotta do it before you enter your pit. No, you gotta do it before.
That Canadian guy in IRB Cups in Eckridge is 3rd, 1.0 behind Todd. YH8 Racing from New Zealand in Ed Columbus Drive is 4th, 2.0 behind that Canadian.
Gotta build it up.
That Canadian guy in N Michigan Avenue is P3, 0.6 behind Todd. Chris Buddett from New Zealand in Wacker Drive is 5th on hards, 1.9 behind YH8 Racing. Chris Buddett passed YH8 Racing for 4th. That Canadian guy in the Lake Street on lap 3 is P3, 1.0 behind Todd. Todd in N Wabash Avenue is P2 on softs, 0.5 ahead of that Canadian guy. YH8 Racing exiting pits on mediums. 15 minutes remaining in the session. That Canadian guy in E. Kinsey Street is third. Best lap is a 2:01.457. Gillisman E. Lake Street is P6 on mediums, 2.2 behind YH8 Racing.
Duck, 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 duck.
That Canadian guy in E. Grand Avenue is third on mediums, 0.5 behind Todd.
I don't have the hands turned off. Don't like to talk to the hand. I always found that they lifted right in my field of view. Annoyed the hell out of me.
Gillispin and Columbus Drive is 6th, 2.3 behind YH8 Racing. That Canadian guy in Ewacker Drive is P3, 0.7 behind Todd.
Woo, Todd.
Gillispin Ewacker Drive on lap 3 is 6th, 2.4 behind YH8 Racing. That Canadian guy from Canada in E. Lake Street is third, 0.6 behind Todd.
Yeah, exactly. I like sweary Jim.
And Michigan Avenue is 6th,
Mm-hmm.
2.1 behind YH8 Racing. That Canadian guy in East South Water Street is third. Best lap is a 2:00.530. Gillis is P6, 1.5 behind YH8 Racing. Gillis was 18.5 faster last lap. That Canadian guy in Ewacker Drive is third on mediums, 0.7 behind Todd. YH8 Racing in E. Grand Avenue is 6th on mediums, 1.1 behind Gillis. That Canadian guy in E. Randolph Street is third, 0.4 behind Todd. YH8 Racing in Ewacker Drive is 6th, 2.1 behind Gillis. That Canadian guy in Anwavich Avenue is P3, 0.3 behind Todd.
What car library are you running? Are you rooting for my team? It's a team strategy?
YH8 Racing in Anwabash Avenue is P6, 1.6 behind Gillis. That Canadian guy in E. Ohio Street is P3, 0.4 behind Todd. Todd in Ewacker Drive is P3, 0.1 behind that Canadian guy. 10 minutes remaining in the session. YH8 Racing is P6, 2.4 behind Illis. That Canadian guy in Anne Garland Ford is second. Todd exiting pits on mediums. YH8 Racing in Ewacker Drive on lap 5 is 6th, 4.0 behind Illis. Chris Budd exiting pits on mediums. Illisvin and Michigan Avenue is 5th on mediums, 0.5 behind Chris Budd. YH8 Racing in N Wabash Avenue is P6. Best lap is a 2:04.144. 4.284 off the fastest lap. Illisvin and Wabash Avenue is 5th, 1.5 behind Chris Budd. YH8 Racing in N Columbus Drive is 6th, 4.1 behind Illis. Illisvin and Michigan Avenue is 5th. Best lap is a 2:02.538. 2.678 off the fastest lap. YH8 Racing in Ewacker Drive is P6, 4.0 behind Illis. Illisvin Lake Street on lap 7 is 5th, 1.9 behind Chris Budd. Illis was 13.8 faster last lap. Chris Budd in Lake Street is 4th on mediums, 1.8 ahead of Illis.
Ooh, got 0.75 of a liter of fuel. I better pit. Mike?
Illisvin and Wabash Avenue is P5, 1.5 behind Chris Budd.
Into the pits with 0.33 liters. Ooh. Oh shit. And into the wall. Canadian guy, I think you're gonna get the jump on me on this one.
Ewacker Drive is P2 on mediums, 1.5 behind that Canadian guy.
Shit, if I didn't hit that wall, I would have come out in front of you. Damn it.
Illisvin and Michigan Avenue on lap 7 is 5th, 1.1 behind Chris Budd. That Canadian guy exiting pits on softs. The Race Dictator exiting pits on softs. The Race Dictator in Lake Street is P2 on softs, 1.9 behind that Canadian guy. 5 minutes remaining in the session. Illis from New Zealand in E Lake Street is P5, 2.0 behind Chris Budd.
Boy, the softs do have a little funny outlap kind of feel, don't they?
The race dictator in E Kinsey Street is second, 2.5 behind that Canadian guy. YH8 Racing in the San Corregidor Memorial Bridge on lap 8 is 6th, 0.1 behind Illis. YH8 Racing passed Illis for 5th. Illis in N Wavich Avenue is P6, 0.9 behind YH8 Racing. Illis was 1.9 faster last lap. Todd in E Grand Avenue is 4th on mediums, 1.3 behind Chris Budd.
That's it, J1 set free. He's going to rock us all now. No, I ran into the barrier on the entry.
Illis in N Michigan.
There's just a little enough of a
1.1 behind YH8
outcrop in that the concrete barrier where you can get stuck on it.
Todd in E Wacker Drive is 4th on mediums, 1.3 behind Chris Budd.
I'm too busy.
Illis in N
Exactly, I'm too busy freaking. Oh, stay off the wall!
0.9 behind YH8 Racing.
Yeah, where's Dave? Yeah, we got quiet Dave driving tonight. He's serious tonight.
Todd in N State Street is 4th. Best lap is a 2:00.219. 0.359 off the fastest lap. The race dictator in William P. Fahey Bridge on lap 9 is 2nd, 4.9 behind that Canadian guy. That Canadian guy was 14.4 faster last lap. Todd in William P. Fahey Bridge is P4 on mediums, 0.8 behind Chris Budd.
So you fall into placements.
The race dictator in E Wacker Drive is 2nd. Best lap is a 2:00.214. 0.354 off the fastest lap. Todd from New Zealand in E Wacker Drive is 4th, 0.1 behind Chris Budd. Todd passed Chris Budd for 3rd. Chris Budd in N Stetson Avenue is P4, 0.4 behind Todd. Todd was 1.3 faster last lap. The race dictator in N State Street is 2nd.
I might have to sit out the crazy race. I'm literally getting a blister on my finger.
YH8 Racing in N Wabash Avenue is P5.
Hey, lockdown's very lonely.
Race Dictator in and Columbus Drive is second.
Sweating up a storm in here too.
The leader has just finished the race. That Canadian guy finished P1. The Race Dictator finished P2.
Oh, that was it. Was that it? Good job, J1. There's no way I was gonna hold you back even if I had gotten out of the pit in front of you.
Todd finished third.
What tires did you start out on? Yeah, I went medium and then softs.
Chris
Yeah.
Bunnett finished fourth. YH8 Racing finished P5.
Let me give you, I guessed the fuel and I guessed it perfect. I got 1.28 liters left.
Gillis finished sixth.
There's a jet in the air with contrails. Chemtrails. If you know what chemtrails are? It's kind of like the 5G injection you get, you know? It's 5G out from above. You a fluffer? Have you not driven the Judd before, Chris? Oh, okay. I have no idea what's in the new version. Just whenever we put one of these things up, I go out and have a look. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to do the crazy race. Seriously, my steering wheel is actually, you can feel where it's damp where I'm gripping it. Jeez. Mm-hmm. No, man.
Broadcast bot is seventh.
I might start out with 1 more liter of fuel, just in case. Very left out. Here we go, boys.
The race session is at Chicago Street Circuit, converted from Grid Autosport by ACU, updated and finalized by Reboot Team. Various Grid 2 assets borrowed from C-Hikey FREAK.
Get ready, we're about to go. It's about go time.
USA.
Here come the lights.
Is P1 on softs.
Uh-oh, somebody just jumped out.
The pits is P19. 20 minutes remaining in the session race start.
Wow, these cars are so shiny.
New Zealand in Lake Street is P2 on parts.
Whoa!
Chris Bunnett exiting pits.
Somebody jumped right in front of me.
YH8 Racing lost P4 to that Canadian gun. Todd from New Zealand in Wabash Avenue is third on softs.
Litchy Dave. Then you jumped, like you were beside me, and then you jumped, all of a sudden you appeared right in front of me.
Guy from Canada in Patent Corregidor Memorial Bridge is fourth on mediums.
I think it's your computer. We talked about this before.
And Wavich Avenue is
Maybe it can't, your computer's not keeping up?
That Canadian guy in Columbus Drive is P4.
Don't confuse Dave. He's simple.
Todd in St. Clair Street is P3.
Oh, sorry, Dave.
That Canadian guy in DuSable Bridge is P4.
Cool.
Todd in Ewacker Drive is second, battling Illis.
Really? Weirdo.
That Canadian guy in
Can't you just-
Avenue is third.
Can't you seriously
Next
just
lap
just
is
picture that guy like covered in cow blood in a full moon with a deer hunter knife in his hand? I can totally see it.
Todd in Washington Street is P2.
I'll bleed
Best
you
lap is
real slow.
8.691. 0.107 off the fastest lap. Illis exiting pits on mediums. That Canadian guy in N State Street is P3. Todd in N Wavich Avenue is second, 0.4 ahead of that Canadian gun. That Canadian guy is third, 0.5 behind Todd. Todd in E Grand Avenue is P2 on softs, 0.7 ahead of that Canadian gun. That Canadian guy in DuSable Bridge is P3 on mediums, 0.6 behind Todd. Todd in Ewacker Drive is second, 0.6 ahead of that Canadian gun. That Canadian guy in N Stetson Avenue is P3, 0.7 behind Todd.
I Verstappened you. Sorry, buddy.
Todd in E Washington Street is P2. Best lap is a 2:02.264. 0.511 off the fastest lap. That Canadian guy from Canada in N State Street is third, 0.3 behind Todd. 15 minutes remaining in the session.
Yeah, well, Jason's got the lowest computer of any of us. J2.
Todd in IRB Cup Sinet Bridge is P2. That Canadian guy in N Columbus Drive is third, 1.3 behind
There's a
Todd.
blue pill that'll fix that.
Todd into Sable Bridge is second, 1.4 behind the race dictator.
Yeah.
That Canadian guy in E-Wacker Drive is third, 1.3 behind Todd.
Oh shit!
The race dictator from New Zealand in E-Lake Street is P2 on mediums, 0.3 ahead of that Canadian guy. The race dictator was 1.5 faster last lap. That Canadian guy in Wabash Avenue is third on mediums, 0.3 behind the race dictator.
Oh shit!
YH8 Racing
Jeez.
exiting pits on mediums. The race dictator in Ann State Street is P3 battling that Canadian guy. The race dictator in Ann Columbus Drive is third, 0.4 behind that Canadian guy. That Canadian guy in DuSable Bridge is P2, 1.0 ahead of the race dictator. Gillespie and Michigan Avenue is fifth on mediums. The race dictator in Ann Michigan Avenue on lap 5 is second, 1.3 behind that Canadian guy. Todd exiting pits on mediums. Gillespie Lake Street is P4. Chris Budd exiting pits on mediums. The race dictator in Ann Wabash Avenue is second on mediums, 1.6 behind that Canadian guy. YH8 Racing from New Zealand in Ann State Street is sixth on mediums, 3.2 behind Chris Budd. The race dictator in Ann Michigan Avenue is second, 1.3 behind that Canadian guy. 10 minutes remaining in the session. Gillespie and Michigan Avenue is P4. The race dictator in Ann Michigan Avenue on lap 6 is second, 1.5 behind that Canadian guy. Gillespie Lake Street is fourth. Best lap is a 2:01.986. 1.390 off the fastest lap. race dictator in Ann Wavich Avenue is second, 2.6 behind that Canadian guy. YH8 Racing in Ann Garland Court is P6. The race dictator from New Zealand in Ann Michigan Avenue is second, 2.0 behind that Canadian guy. In Ann Michigan Avenue on lap 6 is P4. YH8 Racing from New Zealand in Ann Columbus Drive is 6th.
Whew, you boys are flying.
The race dictator exiting pits on softs. Illispin and Stetson Avenue is 4th, 2.0 behind the race dictator. Race dictator in Ann Wabash Avenue is P3 on softs, 1.7 ahead of Illisp. Illisp is 4th, 2.4 behind the race dictator.
Maximum effort time, boys.
The race dictator in Ann Columbus Drive on lap 7 is P3, 2.4 ahead of Illisp. Illisp in Ohio Street is 4th. Best lap is a 2:01.706. 1.594 off the fastest lap. The race dictator in Emacker Drive is P3, 2.3 ahead of Illisp. That Canadian guy exiting pits on softs. Todd in Ann Stetson Avenue is second on mediums.
Whoa, boys!
Canadian guy.
Damn, we're in the shadows there.
Todd lost P2 to the race dictator. 5 minutes remaining in the session. Illisp in E. Randolph Street is P4. Dictator in Patan Corregidor Memorial Bridge is P2, 2.3 behind that Canadian guy. Illisp in Ann Wavich Avenue is 4th, 0.9 behind Todd. Dictator in Ann Columbus Drive is second, 1.7 behind that Canadian guy. Illis is 4th, 1.0 behind Todd. YH8 Racing in and Columbus Drive on lap 8 is 6th, 1.3 behind Chris Budd. The Race Dictator in E Lake Street is 2nd, 1.5 behind that Canadian guy. The Race Dictator was 5.8 faster last lap.
Sure is.
YH8 Racing in Ewacker Drive is P6, 0.7 behind Chris Budd. The Race Dictator in Ann State Street is 2nd, 1.7 behind that Canadian guy. YH8 Racing in E Washington Street is P6, 1.0 behind Chris Budd. YH8 Racing was 4.9 faster last lap. The Race Dictator in E Grand Avenue is 2nd on softs, 2.1 behind that Canadian guy. YH8 Racing from New Zealand in Ewacker Place is 6th, 1.2 behind Chris Budd. The Race Dictator in Ewacker Drive is P2, 2.5 behind that Canadian guy.
Somebody just needs to take the magnet off Dave's car.
Illis in E Lake Street is 3rd. The Race Dictator in Batan Corregidor Memorial Bridge is P2, 3.2 behind that Canadian guy. Chris Budd from New Zealand in Ann Stetson Avenue is P6 on mediums. The Race Dictator is P2, 3.8 behind that Canadian guy.
Good race, J1.
The leader has just finished the race. That Canadian guy finished 1st. The Race Dictator finished 2nd. Illis finished P3. Todd finished P4. YH8 Racing is 5th.
I think Chicago. I think Chicago needs to go into our rotation of tracks, though. It's a good track. Oh, trust me, these things are not nearly as fussy as some of the other stuff we've run. Like V8 supercars on this track would be crazy hard. Way these 90-degree turns, no, they just wouldn't take it. They'd just be bang into the wall. Yeah, the BTCCs would be good here. Well, once if Matty Boy does come back, we'll definitely go to something old school, either the 240 or BTCCs, or I like those 70s GTA cars. Those are good too. The Escort and stuff.
Broadcast bot is P7.
Yep, jump out. I just need to do one little. All right, boys. Server is being restarted. I'll just get broadcast bot out. Out you go, broadcast bot. Oh shit. Seriously? No. V2. What you talking about? V2. No. None of that has to do anything with the name on the server. The same on the server has to be exactly what's in the. Yeah, hold on, boys. This is the thing. I can't test all this shit while I'm working, so fine. I pulled it from the entry list. That's exactly what we run before, because I pulled it out of our previous thing. Hold on a second here. Config. No. You kidding? Nah. Hold on. All right, hold on, boys. Just doing a bit of. There's the problem is I've got just too many variants in my computer because of all the testing I do. Yeah. Let's see here. Where's the scan? Oh, god damn it. Come on, computer. Computer says no. Scans. I hope this is the right version. So, mate, there's some mystery person running around Pukekohe with COVID. They found it in the pee. Are there? Okay, well that would do it. I'll say. Oh, yeah. Thank fuck that's not us. Absolutely. Ooh. Jeez. Well, I hope this is the right version now, boys. Server config. Cool. Restarting the server right now. Oh, it's going to take a second. Server could not be restarted. Why couldn't you be restarted? Good then. Hold on. Uh-huh. I didn't like it. Yeah, well, it's down, Dave, while I'm trying to get the configuration files sorted. Well, what the hell? Yeah, I did. What the hell? Server says stopped. Now I gotta get into error logs. Fuck me. I've driven it before in testing. I just don't remember. There's a whole bunch of tracks. Oh, no errors on it. What the frick? Nah, sorry boys, I can't figure out what's going on. It's saying the car is invalid. It's literally throwing a checksum error on the server, which I've never seen before. So, no Crazy Race. Sorry, boys. Yep, that is indeed crazy. I tell you what, why don't I put Paris up? Because that's where we're racing next. You fellas can have fun on that. Yeah, but I'm gonna do the full version of Paris, not the short one. No, but it's just very different from the version we ran before. Yep. Nope. Nope. It's just a different route through. It's the full route between the Eiffel Tower and Arc de Triomphe and the whole gig. Yep. Let's see here. Corsa, content, tracks. Where is shit? Yeah, there were so many. Right, catch files. Yeah, where is Ted? Yeah, iRacing's got Greg, right? I'm assuming so. Yeah. He's a bit out there, isn't he? Paris is up.